Here at the ACC tournament, men's basketball, with John Swofford, the commissioner of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Dan Tortora here with you for Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. John, first and foremost, how have you been lately? How's everything been?
Dan, very well. It's an exciting time of year. We just finished up our women's tournament and now, of course, starting the men's tournament.
And to start the men's tournament, they call it March Madness for a reason. A one-point victory, I should say, by Boston College over Georgia Tech. Just what it means to you to start it off strong like that.
Well, you hope we have a lot more games like that in a tournament for the fans, and I suspect we will with the quality of teams that we have in this league, and I think we're in for a very exciting few days here.
Now, you and I had talked about Syracuse going into it and everything that was going on with them, and that the NCAA was taking a long time. You had wanted to see some changes with Miami and North Carolina and Syracuse all waiting under the ACC. Now that Syracuse has their penalties, how do you respond to how strong those penalties were, so to speak?
Well, the only thing I would say at this point is they were more harsh than I anticipated, but there's still an appeals process that Syracuse may or may not choose to go through.
Right.
And so we'll see where that ends up. And the important thing I think now is to correct the mistakes that were made, to assure that they won't occur again, and look forward rather than backwards.
When these mistakes happen, a lot of them were before Syracuse came to the ACC. Do you or have you taken some time to talk with Jim Boeheim and discuss the future and what his plan is to make sure that they correct those mistakes?
Well, more with Kent Severud and Daryl Gross at this point. Jim and I have not spoken since the sanctions were announced, but I'm sure we will in the future. He's had a tremendous career there and has done great things for Syracuse and college basketball, and I'm sure he, more than anyone, wants to correct whatever issues that were there and move forward with in the same manner that Syracuse has done for so many years. It's a great basketball brand, and I'm sure will continue to be for years to come.
When you have those conversations with the chancellor and the athletic director, how confident did you feel going forward from those conversations that they are taking the right steps at this point?
Oh, I feel very confident about that. I think that certainly Chancellor Severud is very much involved and very much wanted these things resolved. Of course, they were on the table when he came into office, and some of the issues actually predate Daryl Gross as well.
Yeah.
And I know that both of them want the same thing going forward, and that's a quality program that is operated within the rules, and that's what we want at all of our schools and all of our programs, and I have every confidence that will be the case with Syracuse.
Does it make it difficult for you as a commissioner to go through Miami, have Syracuse, and then have kind of North Carolina now on the burner? Is it difficult to oversee all of this and be the face of the ACC during a time like this? How do you handle something like that?
Well, I don't know if it's difficult. It's not, you don't want those situations
right.
in the league.
Right.
But we're a 15-member league, and we've, if you look historically at the Atlantic Coast Conference, whether you go back a decade or 25 years, you can almost pick any particular period of time. We've had very few, and less than any of the major conferences, major infractions cases with the NCAA. So when we do have one or a few in a fairly tight time frame, it's unusual for us, and so you want to correct the mistakes, as I said earlier. Take whatever medicine the NCAA deems is appropriate to take and move forward in a positive way. And the compliance part of college athletics is something that the ACC has always taken very seriously, which is why I think we've had a minimal number of those kinds of issues. And really they're all institutional based, and I think all of our institutions share that commitment to compliance, and I think when there is a failing in that area, if you want to call it that, then I think everybody takes notice of that, and you know, you can never be complacent about the rules. It takes a lot of hands-on effort and a strong culture to do the right things and operate programs in the right way. And we've been very fortunate over the years where the vast majority of our programs have operated without any NCAA problems and issues.
When you've been part of a school and part of an athletic department, how difficult is it to make sure that everybody's being watched and everyone's on the same page? Because people looking at the situation at Syracuse are saying, well, what did Jim Boeheim know? What did the director of basketball ops, the athletic director? How difficult is it to make sure that everybody is together, or do you think that it isn't that difficult to make sure that people know what other people are doing?
Well, I don't think it's easy. I think if you look at most NCAA issues that institutions have at any time, it's usually a minimal number of people that made bad decisions, and it's seldom systemic. I think the culture that you build around a program committed to compliance is very important. And you do have to trust people, but most of the time it's not a whole institution. It's not necessarily systemic. It oftentimes is the efforts of a few in the wrong direction and in the wrong way, making bad decisions.
Syracuse took themselves out of the ACC tournament this year. When you got that news, how did you handle that?
Well, I respected that. I thought it was a sound, proactive move on Syracuse's part. I still feel that way. I think it was the right thing to do, the appropriate thing to do this particular year.
You still have the banner for Syracuse hanging up this season. I saw it out there right above the court for the ACC. All the teams are there, including Syracuse. Was that a purposeful thing to show that they all are still together, even though Syracuse isn't here?
Absolutely. Syracuse is a part of this family and will be for many years to come, and we'll give the university and the program all the support that we possibly can moving forward to help them put this in the rearview mirror.
And lastly, when it comes to someone like Jim Boeheim and what you've been able to take away from him in your conversations with him, what can you say about his character, the person that he is, and what he means to the conference at this point?
Well, I think you just look at his total package of work over an extended period of time, and it's extraordinary. Jim has meant a lot to college basketball, to Syracuse University, and I'm sure will continue to do so.